Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, another vlog. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about this injury, or how I'm planning, or how I am trying to recover from this injury. So the things that I'm implementing to not only get better, but also to recover stronger and to basically come back in a better position than I was a few months ago. If you aren't aware of what I'm currently going through, if you go back to the previous video, I do go through it a little bit, but basically I'm currently suffering with a shoulder injury, and to be honest, nobody, not even the physio, fully understands what the injury is. So definitely just got a bit shy because the car came around the corner. But before we get into that though, I do actually have to go to work, and then I will speak about the injury a little bit more. I have honestly become that person who is obsessed with coffee, drinking coffee every single day, and that is something I genuinely thought I would never be. But honestly, a flat white, that you literally can't beat it first thing in the morning, especially now it's getting so cold. Anyway, I've got a 2-hour gap now, I've had a cancellation, so I thought what better way to spend 2 hours when you can't train than coming into your car, having a flat white and just talking to myself, talking to a camera. So I felt, if I'm being honest, I felt a little bit sorry for myself this morning, because I can't even remember what I said this morning. It's been like a while, but basically I started to feel better yesterday, and today it kind of seems to have gone back to square one. Like the original pain is back, certain movements are starting to hurt, and if I'm being honest, I'm not feeling great, but it is what it is. Anyway, that brings me on nicely to my first point, and that is going to see a professional, going to see a physio. If your arm was falling off, if you'd broken your arm, you would go to A&E, you'd go and get help in a hospital. So an injury shouldn't be treated any differently. It's the first thing that I'd say to my clients as soon as a classic amateur failure. The battery kind of died when we were sat in the car. Very unprofessional of me, but anyway, we're here now. Just been for a walk, and basically what I was saying about point number 1 was the first thing I say to my clients if they've got any pains or any niggles is to go and see a physio. If they're unsure about something, the best thing you can do is get professional help instead of training on it and making it worse and just kind of being sat there wondering what it is, when you can just go and get it sorted out basically. So yeah, point number 1 is go and see a physiotherapist. And that leads me on to point number 2, and I'm actually going to take my hat off for this one because I don't want to get into that habit again of just filming every single video wearing a beanie. So let's get that sorted. Okay, just ignore the stripes on my face from the beanie, but it's off. So point number 2 leads on nicely from point number 1, and that is basically do your rehab, do your physio, do whatever the physio has told you to do in order to recover. So that could be using ice, it could be using heat, or it could be a particular stretch that you need to do, or any mobility exercises, or it could just be to completely rest. But it's important to listen to the advice that's been given. It's been given for a reason. If you don't do it, you might make it worse. It might prolong the recovery time, and that is something we definitely don't want to do. So the first time I went to the physio, I got told that I need to do a pec stretch. Second time, I was given something for my shoulder instability because that's what we originally thought it was. And then the third time, I'm given a thoracic spine stretch, which is the nicest one that I've been given, and it's something I'm doing every day. Twice, maybe 3 times a day, not overdoing it, but making sure that I do get it done at least once. Okay, so point number 3 is control the controllables. So basically, stop focusing on the things that you can't do and focus on the things that you can do. So using my injury as an example, it's the easiest way of doing it. I can't train upper body and I can't really train legs either, but I can go outside for walks, I can focus on my mobility. So a goal that I've set myself is to basically get a little bit more flexible, get a little bit more mobile, and also make sure that I go outside at least once a day, getting an hour walk in, getting my steps in, and it just makes me feel so much more mentally better rather than sitting around and just kind of making the injury worse by just thinking about it and just dwelling on the things that I can't do. But the best thing that you can do is just focus on the things that you can do and maybe set new goals as well. Also, more from that point is basically focus on your weaknesses. So One of the main reasons why we think we might be injured is because I have a really tight back or a tight lat, tight QL. So that means that for me, that's a weakness. My mobility might not be great. I've not really been focusing too much on mobility in terms of my back and core and stuff like that. So this is a really good opportunity for me to focus on my weaknesses and come back even stronger when I can train eventually. Okay, point number 4 is nutrition. And I think this is one is a little bit complicated because what I found hard was basically I can't train and I'm nowhere near as active as I was a couple of weeks ago. So I was paranoid about gaining weight basically, especially the time of year, with it being Christmas, being winter. I'm eating a lot more food. I want to eat more food. I'm socializing more. So I was quite paranoid a few days ago when I got told that I can't train and basically thought of adding a little bit of extra weight. However, what I would say, and something that I'm trying to do myself, is keep nutrition how it was. So for example, have a high protein diet, make sure you're eating nutritious foods and don't eat less, because if you think about it, your body's fighting an infected area. It needs all the energy, all the calories that it needs in order to recover. So don't reduce your calories too much and try and just keep things how they are. And you should be sweet. And on most injuries, you can still be active, you can still walk, you can still get your steps in. So relating to the previous point, just set some goals where you can be active and get outside and get some steps in. So yeah, try not to change diet too much. Okay, then the final point for me is probably the most important, because if you're anything like me and you have to have a goal, or you like being active, you like going to the gym, you like exercising, it can be quite hard to kind of deal with it mentally. And that's something that I have struggled with over the past week. So obviously this injury, I've had it like this now for 4 weeks, and it can be quite draining, and it can be all my focus is pretty much gone onto this injury, and it can become quite overwhelming and sad at times. So I'm going to use myself as an example again. So the other day, everything just got too much. I got told I couldn't train. It meant that I couldn't decorate the house. It meant that I couldn't really get stuck in on the things that I wanted to get stuck in on. And even training clients is quite hard, because obviously it's an active job. I've got to put weights on the bar. I've got to put weights away and demonstrate exercises and stuff. So the fact that I'm constantly thinking about the shoulder injury, it can just become quite draining. So just remember that it's okay to not be okay. Basically, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling sorry for yourself, it's absolutely fine. You're allowed to feel that way. Don't let anyone tell you any different, and just try and look after yourself. So again, relating to the other points, get outside. Outside, being in nature is one of the best things for your mental health. If you can go out for a walk or just get outside in any way possible, I would highly recommend that, because it just gives you a bit of a different focus. Can leave your phone at home, and it's just a nice thing to do, either on your own or with somebody else. So yeah, make sure you look after your mental health, because that is one of the most important things, I personally think, when you're overcoming an injury. Okay, so a few days later, things got a little bit busy the other day, but I hope you did get something from that. I mean, everyone's different things work for different people, but ultimately, as injury advice goes, that's basically the base of things that I do when it comes to recovering from an injury. So I'm definitely going to be speaking more about this kind of stuff, going through more of my rehab, my training, what my goals are and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope it was a useful video and you got something out of it. So if you did enjoy it, please give it a like. If you're new, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.